Started off here in Lowell as a reserve back in 2007. Full-time spot came open, tested for that, and was lucky enough to get the full-time spot when it opened up, and that was in July of 2008. So almost 13 years later, here I am. Started off as a patrolman, reserve patrolman, and now I'm a corporal, also a field training officer. So anytime we get new guys on, or reserves, whenever we take them, we'll train those guys. Originally, coming out of high school, I had no idea what I was going to do. Both my parents worked in the steel mill, and I figured I was just going to become work in the steel mill like they did. And one night I was driving home from work and my car broke down, and the Hobart officer actually pulled over and stopped and checked on me. He's like, "Hey, are you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my car broke down." And he's like, "Well, you know what, dude, let me give you a ride home so you're not walking." So he gives me a ride, and while we're driving, I was just asking him questions. I'm like, what's it really like? What do you guys really do? Obviously you see like the TV shows and everything, and so he kind of just laid it out there. He's like, "Look, there's times it's fun and exciting, and there's times it's boring and there's nothing going on, and doing all the paperwork is not always fun, but overall, it's a great job and great career." And I just started applying, and then Lowell had a reserve process, and I came down and applied for it and got it, and my first call that I went to, I was hooked. Honestly, I just truly love it. It's fun to come out here. You work retail, or at least when I did, or you worked in the mill. It was the same thing every day, and out here, every day is different. It can be like right now we got nothing going on, but the next call we get, or in a couple minutes, it can explode, and you got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm actually a pretty laid-back guy. I like to joke and have a good time just like everybody else. I'm a family man. I like to hang with my family, and everybody I stop doesn't get a ticket or get arrested. But I'm a normal dude, just like everybody else. You go out and you treat people with respect. You do what you're supposed to do. Even when they're calling you names, or wanting to fight with you. It's when everything's said and done, it's over. Don't take it personal. You'll hear the parent, if they've got the kids, they'll look at the kid and be like, "Now, if you're bad, this officer's going to take you to jail." And we hate when people tell their kids that, because then the kids look at you like you're some kind of monster. Or sometimes we've had people bring their kids in, like the kids are acting up at home, a 7 or 8 year old, and they'll bring them into the PD and they'll be like, "I need you to yell at my kid because he's out of control." And it's like, look, that's not my job. That's your job as a parent to do that. It's a statewide, it's a state grant. Basically, they just kind of split the money up to dole out to departments, and every department gets so many hours to work specific grants. This is the DUI one. We can work it in town, but typically when I work these, I like to try and get out of town and kind of see. I like to hit some of the areas that I feel like don't get enough attention, to see if I can find anything that may be floating through or anything like that. And jurisdiction is statewide, so we have jurisdiction with anywhere within the state. We can go. So if I wanted to go down to Indianapolis, I could run traffic down there if I wanted to, or make arrests or do whatever. I still have jurisdiction within the state, but I would just have to, any arrest tickets or anything like that I would have to file it through the courts down there. What it is, it's called the DUI enforcement grant. The main focus of the grant is to go out, look for impaired drivers. That's who you want to get off the road. We're looking for really anything though. We'll get out on 41, we'll get people flying. I think the quickest I've ever had out there is 136. So obviously we want to stop people from driving that quick out here. Almost everybody you stop has an excuse of why they're speeding or why they did what they did. Sometimes you can tell that what they're telling you is not true, and sometimes you can tell, like when they're talking and explaining everything, you're like, all right, you know what? I believe it. I understand it. But hey, you got to slow down for me. It just depends too, like where you're at. If you're in a residential neighborhood and there's kids outside playing, and you're flying through a neighborhood, it's more likely that you're going to get a citation. Now we're out here on 41, speed limit 60. Like this guy coming at us right now is 72. You know, 12 over. I mean, that's not really what I'm out here looking for. You know what I mean? I'm looking for a little bit quicker than that. So I like to wait till they get up in the, you know, like some of the back roads right there. Like I'll give you 20. You know, now every officer's different. Some guys are going to say 15 over is too quick, and your attitude can play a lot into it too. You know, if I go up and you tell me right away, like, hey, look, I'm sorry, I messed up. You know, I didn't know I was doing that. All right, I can work with you. If you're going to tell me right off the bat that, you know, or get argumentative, then that's not going to help your case. Chief Weisman was able to get some grant money for this jiu-jitsu class, and you know, it's another tool for the tool belt, they call it. You know, where it's something where if you know things go, you know, get a little hairy and you know you have to go hands-on with somebody, it's another tool where you know you can use that instead of having to go to, you know, maybe the spray or the taser or, you know, God forbid, the gun. You know what I mean? You can de-escalate some of those situations, and you know, also protect yourself if, you know, someone does come at you. You know, learning this stuff definitely helps, because it's a way to show you a safer way to do it, not only for you but for the person that you may be having to go hands-on with.
So what arm am I tracking? That's the direction I need to go.
Your elbow in my elbow. Nice. Much better. Good job.
You got it. Yeah, so obviously this is going to be a little bit more challenging for the smaller, for you guys that are under 200, right? Here. Wait for that balance. Yeah, these little movements will definitely help.
Open that leg,
But
and let's get
this is step one.
Yeah.